Hey everyone, bienvenidos a la Hora del Mitote. We thank you for joining us tonight. La Hora del Mitote is transmitted on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel tonight. We'll be streaming live, and it will also be on Channel 30 through the Create TV network, and it'll be airing next week. So please be on the lookout for that if you're a Create TV viewer. And we invite you to participate tonight by sending in your questions and comments on Facebook and YouTube. We'll get those right here in our feed, and we will get to them as we can. Hopefully, respond to all of your questions tonight. We're hoping you have tons of questions, and we're hoping that you will be interested in our program for this evening. So, my name is Peter Allen. I'm excited to be here tonight. I am a longtime board member at Teatro Visión. I started out on the board, I believe, in 2011. And served for quite a while, both in that capacity and then as managing director for a time. Before rejoining the board, and I've been on the board now since 2016. With me is my colleague on the board development committee with Teatro Visión, Blanca Sanchez-Cruz, who is also our illustrious vice president of the board. Blanca, would you like to say hello, introduce yourself?
Sure. Buenas noches a todos. Thank you for being here with us today. We hope to have a good chat with you all today, but my name is Blanca Sanchez. I've been on the board of directors for 2 years, going on 3. Been involved with theater for a very long time as, a community arts program within our region, and a patron attending shows, etc. But 2 years and a half ago or so, Peter showed up to my LBLA class and said, we're looking for board members. And I was like, sign me up. And so here I am. This year I have the honor of serving as the board's vice president and, helping to support the wonderful work that we do in the community with our youth and our artists. I've also was lucky enough last year to actually join the cast of one of our shows. And so was able to get on stage and really kind of experience that side of the work that we do within teatro and our artists in our community. So welcome, buenas noches.
And she was fabulous, by the way, everyone. I was incredibly jealous. I've been lobbying our artistic team for many years to find a small role where I can play, maybe in the background or just in the shadows, right, and just sort of standing there, maybe a line. But I'm very, very proud of you and of Cristal for having an opportunity to serve in another capacity with Teatro, and that's the beauty. Our board of directors and our family here at Teatro. We really are a family. There is no sort of hierarchy. It's really not there are no egos, right? Well, I mean, I have a little bit of an ego, but anyway, we'll get to that later. But there really aren't anything. It's nothing like that, right? We all generally get along. Most things are done by consensus, and we generally don't do anything if we can't find consensus. And I think that's really important for any organization, and especially an organization like ours, which is a nonprofit theater arts organization that functions on a very strict and limited budget, right? We rely on the generosity of major donors and government funders and foundations, but also individuals. And that's kind of a good segue into what we're here to talk about mostly tonight, which is our annual fundraising event, that Tardeada, which is loosely translated as a afternoon garden party, but we've turned it into an evening backyard soiree and dance party at our illustrious offices in Japantown. But we'll get to that in just a second. I do want to give a quick shout out. Thank you, Blanca, for referencing the LBLA. That's the Latino Board Leadership Academy. It's a program of the Hispanic Foundation of Silicon Valley, and they do a fabulous matching night for all of their fellows who are being trained to take on leadership roles and board roles like here at Teatro Visión. And that's where Blanca and I met, and we're Teatro has recruited very very heavily, I think, actually, from LBLA. They've provided a number of our board members, so we highly recommend that program. I'm sure Blanca would highly recommend anyone who's interested in taking on more of a leadership role and building your leadership skills, and then actually getting to play a role like that and be matched with an organization with which you share values, right? I think it's a great program, and as our board development team, we'll get into this later as well. We're actively looking for new board members. We're always looking for folks who want to give a little more back to Teatro and get more engaged and build your leadership skills and develop your own professional skills too, in fundraising, event planning. There's so marketing, HR. There's so many different capacities you can help the board and you can grow yourself in. So definitely encourage you to consider that. Blanca, what's it been like for you being on the board the past after being a sort of a patron of teatro? What's the experience been like moving into this realm?
I think one of the things that I really appreciate about the Teatro family and the board itself is, functions very much as a family. It's very supportive. One of the things that we haven't mentioned is, as a relative rookie compared to some of the other board members, although I think we have a relatively new board at this point now.
Yeah.
I think one of the things is it's a very supportive group. It's a very welcoming environment. It was wonderful to have transition from having done the training with the Latino Board Leadership Academy and being able to come in and understand already what was happening and be able to actually meaningfully contribute. Having been involved in nonprofits for a very long time, more as a volunteer on the ground, you get to experience the actual direct work with community and being able to, now work on the board where, it's the work that sometimes not everybody wants to do, but it's critical in terms of helping to make sure that the volunteers that are coming in and the people that we're working with, the communities that we're contributing to, we can continue to serve, we can continue to support, we can continue to co-create with them. The other thing also, for anyone that might be thinking and considering, I might want to get involved, but I'm not very experienced. I don't have a lot of experience. Totally cool. Here at Teatro Visión, one of the things that we do with new board members is that everyone gets matched with a board buddy. And actually, Peter happens to be my board buddy. And so basically someone that's been already with the organization that can help onboard you, for lack of a better term, and it's your to-go person, right? The person is going to make sure that you're not forgetting things because it's not something that you haven't done before, or that you can ask questions, that you can, really form that buddy bond, and they become your support as you're transitioning to eventually becoming a mentor and buddy to someone else.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Thanks for referencing the buddy system. I'm glad to have you as my board buddy. So yeah, if you are interested, we've popped my email address, my Teatro email address here in on the screen. So if you're interested in potentially serving on the board or just learning a little bit more about the opportunity, or finding out more about how you can get involved in other ways with Teatro, please send us an email. We'd love to chat, and we're always looking for folks ask, are you looking for any specific type of person? Do you need like a lawyer or someone with an IP background or a technology background or marketing background? Honestly, we are looking for people who are committed to service, who are passionate about the values that we all share around inclusion and diversity and using the arts to uplift community, right? If you have that kind of passion and that kind of desire, and you have a good, strong work ethic, because we're definitely a working board, we'd love to have you. And we think that you'd be a good fit. And the real question for us is, are we a good fit for you? Are we a good space for you to really let your talents sing, right? And develop and to let you grow, right? So hopefully everyone has that opportunity with Teatro, and that's something we strive for. So, all right. Well, without further ado then, I would love to get into the main topic for our conversation tonight, which is our Tardeada fundraiser. Just really briefly, this is an event that we've been holding pretty much for the past 10 years now in some form or another. For the past few years, we've held the event online, primarily because of COVID, right? And things forced us to change quite a bit. But up until pandemic and now, it's a wonderful chance for us to gather in a lovely backyard setting, enjoy wonderful food, great drinks, beer, wine, enjoy each other's company, maybe a little dessert, but also to get to know the organization a little better, get to meet our artists and our board members. We're going to you'll get an introduction to, what we're doing now, what we're going to do in the future. But it's just a great opportunity annually to reconnect and to bring everyone together around our common goals, and to reconnect with the folks like you and like others, and the folks who have never donated before but don't know that they're going to donate and might donate tomorrow. Who knows? All the folks who have helped to supply the funds and the resources we need to survive. This is an opportunity for us all to connect and to come together around the work that we do. So I don't know, Blanca, do you want to? I don't know if you've attended one of the in-person Tardeadas in the past, or if you've only experienced.
So I'm really looking forward to being able to come back and reconnect with our community, because I think it's really special, especially as we're still relearning how to come together again after COVID. I think it's a great opportunity to not only reconnect, meet each other again in person, break bread, bread together, but also support a great cause, and all the programming that we do to support the community, to support our young artists. And so it's a win-win, I think, in terms of the Tardeada, and is one of those things that we as a board get to take the lead on and help plan to support the organization. So if you decide to join us, that would be one thing that you could potentially help with.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I definitely want to second just the in-person aspect, right, and the coming together. I've been lucky enough to MC the past our hybrid or our virtual versions, and they've been fantastic. And we've had wonderful artistic programs that we've been able to stream through the wonders of Zoom and StreamYard and other tools. But there's absolutely nothing like. There's nothing like live theater, first of all, the work that we do, right? There's nothing like going to a theater and seeing that show and being a part of it, right? You can stream it. We are happy and excited that we can stream our shows and these programs online because we want to make them accessible. But there's absolutely nothing like being in the theater. There's nothing like being in person with all of your friends and colleagues and also meeting people you've never met before, right? And who you had no idea were connected to Teatro Visión. So we're really looking forward to getting back together in person. And yes, you're gonna be able to have I think tacos, sliders, all the fun stuff, chicken wings, all that fun stuff, chips, and then we're looking at getting some donated beer from local breweries, which will be fantastic. We're talking to a few different places right now. We're going to have some wine, a wide variety of wine from Fantastic Vineyard, and then all the non-alcoholic beverages you could possibly want in case you're not into that kind of thing. We just confirmed today, and we'll get into the program in a second, but Musicos, we're going to have Russell Rodriguez, who is one of our esteemed musical directors from our shows, is going to be performing with a quartet of musicians at the event. So please come early, enjoy that, and stick around for a little dance party afterwards. I think they take requests. If anyone's fans of the Buena Vista Social Club, they play the whole out. They play all of those tunes. So please feel free to request something. Anyways, it's going to be a great time, and we encourage you to come. So I think we're flashing information about it at all times here on the ticker. So you can go to teatrovision.org/Tardeada 2023 if you want to get tickets, or if you'd like to sponsor the event. We'll get into that in a second. So Blanca, would you like to? Maybe we can run through what folks can expect from some of the cool elements of the program at the Tardeada. Do you want to walk through what we've got going on?
Well, first and foremost, you get to meet me. I'm just kidding. That's not the best.
Well, that's why I'm coming. I mean,
No, we really look forward to meeting all of you and for you all to join us. But we are going to have a number of things happening. So, for example, we are preparing for our Dia de Muertos shows coming up, La Muerte Baila. And so one of the things that we're going to have is actually some of our cast members will be joining us and giving some dance lessons from the program. So if you want to learn, that's going to be one of the fun activities that we'll get to do with our cast members during the Tardeada. Other things, you like Peter already mentioned, we'll be going over some of the programming for Teatro Visión, just introducing you to what we've been doing and what we're planning to do, and how you can get involved. You'll get a sneak peek into our 40th anniversary. I mean, it seems like it was just yesterday, but Teatro Visión is going to be celebrating 40 years of bringing teatro to communities in San Jose and the Bay Area in general. So, and really Chicano-based theater. So we're really excited about being able to celebrate that. And so you'll learn a little bit more about some of the things that we'll be doing to celebrate the fact that we've reached this milestone. And so some of the art, work that's going to be coming along with that, and you'll meet the artist that's going to be behind what you're going to be seeing around our branding for 40th anniversary. So he'll be there as well. We also have, for those of you that might not be aware, we do have a new managing director, Yvette Del Toro, and she will be joining us. So that'll be an opportunity for you to also meet her, have some conversations, and also, an opportunity to share directly with her in terms of your own interest and commitment to teatro and things that you're interested in. And then, of course, Peter already mentioned lots of food and, definitely dance party, because it wouldn't be a Tardeada with some baile. So hopefully you'll be able to join us on the 21st for this event.
La Muerte Baila. You'll learn to dance like the dead, which is actually pretty fun. And if you've seen the show before, this is part of our cycle of Dia de los Muertos shows. So I believe this is the third iteration of this particular show. It's fabulous, and you'll be familiar with the dance once. Here we go. Excellent, thank you. We've got some images from the show itself. but yeah, you'll be familiar with the dance routine, and I think you'll have a lot of fun. And yeah, one thing I want to shout out is Yvette, our new managing director. She came on board pretty much late last year, towards the end of our Muertos run last year, and it's been a whirlwind of getting her up to speed with everything. But she came in to fill the shoes of Lee Henderson, our amazing managing director of, I think, more than almost 7 years. She took over for me, actually, when I segued back to the board, and Yvette has just done a stellar job of, there she is right there, of helping us transition into a new era, and also I think is developing herself into a wonderful leader already. So we're really excited to have her, and you get to meet her at the Tardeada, and you get to meet Blanca. So I mean, these two things alone, I think, would be fine. And if you get a little bit some good food and drinks, and get to have a fun time, I think that's even better. So again, it's Thursday, September 21st. So we're looking at a little less than 2 weeks away. But tickets are still available, and you can more likely be able to get tickets up until the day of the event. Speaking of those tickets, they are $50. What does that go towards, right? Well, obviously, we have to, put together a fabulous event, but most and almost all of your ticket costs are going to support our programs, and that's really why we're doing this. Events like this are really integral in terms of getting us the resources, the unrestricted resources we need to, pay the bills, keep the lights on, and do all the wonderful work that we do. We're, like I said before, we're really grateful, and we're lucky to have so many major funders in government and the nonprofit sector and the philanthropic sector. But it's critical that we have support from individual donors like you and like others out in the community, because ticket sales, again, don't pay the bills either, right? I don't know if folks know, we do tremendous shows, right? We do an annual show around Dia de los Muertos. We do a youth production in the spring, and this past year we did a wonderful new work called Raices that we debuted. But the ticket sales from those shows, even if we could sell out the house every night, and it's still not going to cover all the expenses we have, because one, we make the tickets incredibly accessible, right? It's like $10 or whatever you decide to pay to come to any of our shows for anyone, right? And I think it's amazing that we do that. Most theater companies are charging a lot more, but also because the cost of putting on these productions is substantial, right? And of maintaining the work that we do. So that ticket cost is going directly into supporting the work that we do and keeping teatro alive for another 40 years, right? But we don't want you to stop there necessarily. We were always looking to engage with our supporters at a more meaningful level. So we are offering sponsorships for the event. So if you'd like to perhaps take your support to a deeper level and also get a few fun perks, we have some sponsorship levels available for the event. Blanca, if you want to, we could sort of tag team if you want to walk through our first level at the Patron level and what you get for that.
If I can unmute myself, I can absolutely do it. We're always having this fights with the
Sí se puede.
years we would know how to do it, but we still apparently cannot. But anyways, as Peter was mentioning, we hope that you all will be able to join us on Thursday on the 21st for the Tardeada. But if you're not able to and you still want to support, you can definitely opt to do one of our sponsorship packages. So our first level is our Patron, which is our $100 level sponsorship. And so for your sponsorship, you'll get a acknowledgement in the Tardeada promotional program as one of our patrones for the Tardeada. We will also be acknowledging you in the Teatro Visión website and in the new Hora del Mitote newsletter. And also, this is the very special perk. You will also be getting a handmade paper corsage from the Muerte Baila set. So that is going to be the perks package for our patrones.
Nice. And that's how we'll know if you come to the event that you were a sponsor, because you will have a boutonniere for the gentlemen and a corsage for the ladies. But these are handmade paper flowers made by our artists and our team working on the show. So you will get one directly from their work, and so you can even wear it to the show later. So please feel free to do that. At the next level, we have our Nuestro Pueblo level, which is $250. And for that, you get all the things that you heard already. Plus, you'll get 2 tickets to that La Muerte Baila show that we've been referencing, and we'll talk more about later. So there you go. You can go any night. There are going to be at least, I believe, 8 performances, if not more. So you can pick your poison, as it were, and you will also get Teatro Visión etched, or our logo engraved on a wine glass that you can have as a keepsake, and take home with you, and a wine charm as well, so you know which glass is yours. And if you decide that you can't make it for whatever reason, but you'd like to sponsor the event, we will be delivering all these items to you. So you'll get a nice little care package after the event. But that's the Nuestro Pueblo level. So if you'd like, that's at $250. Blanca, do you want to talk about the Mayordomo level?
Absolutely. So for those of you that are willing to go up to the next level and want to be a mayordomo, your sponsorship level of $500. So you'll get already all the wonderful perks that you already heard about. In addition, some of the additional perks for being a mayordomo for our Tardeada includes a special invitation for a behind-the-scenes event for La Muerte Baila. Also, a box of homemade confections from Teatro Visión board member and award-winning TV baker, Leigh Henderson. So you will actually be able to get a box of goodies from someone that was actually a TV celebrity. And I believe
Nice.
she won her competition, correct? And I know I've seen her in other competitions, so she's good. You
She
definitely
won.
want to get this one.
Yeah, she is a food competition winner. She my wife and I actually watched her winning cake competition. She made a dragon cake, which just was unbelievable. But she's also a fantastic candy maker and chocolatier. So every year, one of the things I look forward to, actually, maybe it's one of the reasons I stay on the board, but every year around Christmas we do a sort of holiday board meeting, right? So we have a meeting, and then afterwards we have a little potluck and hang out and enjoy each other's company, a little wine. And every year Lee has, for the past years, has brought each of us a little sampler box of the chocolates she makes around the holiday time. And man, that's like, I look forward to that. Like, it's one of the things I just look forward to every year, because they're delicious, and I savor them. And then there's little, like, explanations of what they are, and just all sorts of great flavor combinations. So that's really something to look forward to. If you come in at the Mayordomo level, we highly encourage that. So, but we'll make sure they don't melt. We'll make sure you get them afterwards, and you're not spoiling your appetite for the food at the event. So, okay, well, if that's at the $500 level, if you are a true champion of teatro, if you want to help make sure that our programs can be even bigger and better, that we can hire even more artists to do this amazing work, and hire even more technicians to make the shows even more spectacular, right? That we can just do even more and offer you even more and subsidize even more. That's one thing I want to point out, that the more that we get in donations, the more we can subsidize tickets and activities for youth and people of limited means who can't afford necessarily to come and experience our work or participate in our classes, right? Scholarships for our students. So if you are really feeling it, we have $1,000 level, $1,000, nice even round number. What is that means you are a madrina, you're a padrino, you are one of our just family of supporters, right? You're like our godparents, basically. You're going to get everything you've already heard: the chocolates, the wine glass, the flower, the behind the scenes event, tickets to the show, right? Plus, you get a super fancy, I wish I had one here I could display. I think I have one here somewhere. It's nearby. Teatro Visión lapel pin, right? You wear that on your lapel at any event, any one of our events, or outside in the community, and people know that you are part of our family. You are our madrina, you're our padrino. But it's also a great calling card. People see that, like at Rotary, they say, "Oh, what's that pin? Oh, let me tell you about Teatro Visión." You will also get 2 additional tickets to the show, to La Muerte Baila. That's 4 total tickets. And I'm sure if you wanted to, see the show twice, I'm sure we could split those up. Or if you want to bring a couple friends, that's what we recommend, actually. Get 4 tickets, find 3 friends or family members who you think would benefit from coming to experience our work, and bring them with you. That's how I got involved. I don't know, Blanca, I don't know how you first felt or experienced teatro, but I would love to hear it. But that's exactly how I first got involved. So someone dragged my ass, literally kicking and, pardon my French, like kicking and screaming, to a show. Not that I didn't want to go. It was more that I'm just not that kind of guy. Like, usually, like, I can be an introvert. You have to get me out the door to get me somewhere. And they finally got me there. And once I got into the door, once I saw the work, it was just inspiring. It really it made me want to come and do more and to be a part of this organization. And lo and behold, 11 years later, so I'm still 12 years later, I'm still here. So 4 tickets to the show, so you can make 3 new friends and give them all a great night out. And if you go to a show, by the way, go to dinner somewhere in the area, at one of the restaurants, or patronize one of the spots in the local community, because we're really trying to lift them up, and there's going to be more opportunities in the future. We'll let you know about. And then the ultimate for this 1,000. I feel like I'm on KQED for your $1,000. You get a tote bag. No, that's one thing we didn't want to do. We were like, no more tote bags. Everyone's got too many tote bags. So we wanted to make these things really special. So for $1,000, you're going to get a personalized anime style portrait created by our longtime teatrista Hugo Badu. If you've seen any of our shows in the past 8, 9, 10 years, you've seen Hugo. You've met Hugo. You've experienced his work. He's a fabulous actor, and he's also an accomplished artist. So I wish I had an example. I remiss. We should have an example to share with you of his work. But basically, he'll be doing an anime caricature of you, personalized, signed, that we will then deliver to you after the event in your care package. So I don't know about you, but in addition to the fact that you're supporting our work and making sure that we can continue, Teatro Visión can continue, and you're becoming part of our family, I mean, that's enough for me. That should be enough, hopefully, for anyone. But all those wonderful perks, Blanca, I don't know what stands out to you. Like what would you be keen on getting?
No, I actually saw some of Hugo's work last year because we were both in Macario, and he actually did the portraits for all of our youth actors
Oh,
as
cool.
part of the end of the show gift. They're adorable, and he is absolutely fabulous as an artist. And so I've seen his work, and I know that you will enjoy what he creates for you. So I think that would be one that I'm very excited about. I would be excited about.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure everyone's looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see. I mean, I hope that I don't know that we've had anyone come in at that level yet, but I very much want someone to, because I want to see one of these pieces. I might even do it myself, just for to have to ask my wife about our joint account or something. Anyway, but we'll get into that later. So once again, those are our wonderful sponsorship levels. We will sing your praises from the mountaintop. We will we will welcome you into our family with open arms. And again, it's all going to a wonderful cause. And by the way, it's almost all tax deductible, because we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization. So you can write it off in your taxes. So a little added benefit if you weren't thinking that already. And I'm excited to announce that we already have a number of sponsors that have come on board. I know that former city council member Nora Campos and Assemblywoman has come on as a sponsor, as well as a number of our key supporters already. And I think just heard that council member Sergio Jimenez from the city of San Jose is going to be sponsoring the event as well. So you will join an illustrious group as well, and you'll get massive shout outs. Or if you don't want the shout out, right? If you just want to give, if you just want to make make a contribution to our work, that we will take it anonymously. We will shout you out, whatever you prefer, right? If you prefer to remain anonymous, we have a number of donors, including one very generous donor, who prefer to remain anonymous, because it's really just about the work, right? And I think that's why Blanca and I are here. That's why all of us are here, is because the work is so important, and it's so critical. So please go to teatrovision.org /Tardeada 2023 to get your tickets today, or your sponsorship package. And we look forward to seeing you there. Blanca, any other thoughts about any other call to action for the Tardeada? Anything you're particularly excited about?
Yes, please, donate, contribute. We know that many of you that we might be speaking to you today are already family members and are already contributing, and we truly appreciate it. But help us spread the word as well, right? One of the things I think that, the perks are great, and, it's all in great fun. But really, when we think about the impact that we have, right? These contributions allow us, for example, to offer our youth matinee show. And for a lot of the students that we're bringing in, we do have a nominal fee, but if the schools can't pay it, we'll waive the fee so they can bring their students, because we want them to have access. For many of the students, it's the first time and maybe the only time that they have access to theater, that they're able to be there and have this experience. You were asking earlier about, I don't know how you got connected to
Oh yeah,
but
please.
for me, my first theater experience was because someone at school cared and brought me to theater, and that was my very first time. I mean, I remember we were going to the theater. I didn't even know really what that meant. And I was like, do I have to buy a dress? Like, how dress up? Like, I was freaking out because I had no idea what that was the experience going to be like, right? But for many students that were bringing in for our youth matinees, it's the first time that they've had this kind of experience. And it's such a wonderful cultural experience that, I think it's important that we continue to do this work, because it's not just about bringing them to the theater and entertaining them in the theater. It's about a lot of our youth coming to the theater and seeing stories that they can see themselves reflected, that resonate with them and who they are. And so I think that's one of the things I think that sometimes we don't think about and it's important for all of you that are contributing to know that you're helping make this work possible. You're helping making, this time I believe we've added a youth matinee show, because we've already sold out for the show that we had, that we had offered to the schools. And there's such high need, right? And so we had to add another show. And like I said, it's those sponsorships that make it possible for us to be able to do that.
I love that. I love the what you said earlier too about your first time going to theater. Like, do I need to wear a dress? Do I is this like super fancy? Do I dress up, right? And yeah, we have gala production or performances where we ask everyone to dress up and get real fancy. But honestly, you come to one of our shows, we want you there. We obviously wear clothes, but don't go completely off the radar. But come as you are, come as who you are to our shows. That's the beauty of theater. No one's coming to see you anyway, right? You're coming to see the show. So dress how you want. But but for the Tardeada, I should point out, we're looking at cocktail attire. It'll be nice. I'll probably put on a shirt with a collar for the first time in a long time. So you get to see that too. You get to see me in actual pants and a collared shirt. So I've really enjoyed Zoom culture. Frankly, I get to wear my below this shirt. It's just nothing but boxer shorts, right, and flip flops. Anyway, but yeah, again, please, we'd love to have you there. We would love for you to have your support in any way, and you can always go and make a donation at any time to support our work, whether it's for the Tardeada or not. Just go to teatrovision.org/give, and you can donate anytime to help us out. We have campaigns throughout the year: Cinco de Mayo, end of the year, Giving Tuesday. But this Tardeada is really one of our biggest. It is our biggest fundraising event of the year, and it's you get a little taste of what we're going to be doing next year around the 40th anniversary. So maybe an even bigger Tardeada. Anyway, well, thank you all for paying attention so far. We're about halfway through our show tonight. So I do want to welcome anyone who has just connected with La Hora del Mitote. Want you to you can participate anytime you want. I don't think we have any questions just yet, but if you have a question or a comment or just want to say like, man, you guys look great, keep it up. Or Peter, you got to shave. Just drop that in the comments and we'll get to it as we can. I don't know if I can shave live on the air, but maybe I'll do that at the Tardeada for like an extra donation. So, but Blanca, do you want to read us off in the Spanish portion of our sort of interlude here?
What? You're not gonna do it? Come on.
I could do it if you want. I'm happy to. I just don't want, I figured.
All right, no, I got you. I got you, Eddie. No, muchas gracias a todos por acompañarnos esta noche a nuestra edición de Hora del Mitote. Antes que nada, queremos darle la bienvenida a alguien que se ha unido a nuestra programación recientemente. Hemos aproximadamente llegado a la media hora de nuestra hora. Esperamos que sigan platicando con nosotros. Si gustan mandarnos sus preguntas o comentarios, lo pueden hacer a través de los comentarios en el chat, ya sea que nos estén viendo a través de Facebook o cualquiera de los otros medios de transmisión. Y con esto regresamos con Peters para continuar con nuestro programa.
And see, I would have just read what was in the script. You actually translated what I said, so that's that's much better. All right. Well, thank you very much, Blanca. Muchísimas gracias. So tonight we are inviting everyone watching to attend our upcoming Tardeada con Teatro, which is our annual fundraising event to support our cultural and artistic mission. It's coming up September 21st. Tweak the script there. I hope it's not October yet. September 21st. It's 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it's at our offices. I should mention where it is. It's we have our offices in Japantown at the Issei Memorial Building. It's a wonderful historic building in the heart of Japantown in San Jose, which is just north of downtown. And they have a lovely backyard, trees, garden, you name it. Peace garden. So we'll be set up back there, a lovely patio, and you'll find your way back there. Parking is a little limited on the street. We're hoping to get some space from the Japanese American Museum down the way to allow for more parking. But please make sure you're parking in an appropriate spot. We're trying to reserve the space at the building itself for staff and for other folks and for some of our team on the event. So I would encourage you to carpool if you're coming with friends. Always a good time. But come, with an appetite for food, company, and just fun and teatro. All right. And again, teatrovisión.org/Tardeada 2023. We wanted to spend some of the remainder of our show. You can obviously continue to ask questions if you have any about the Tardeada in the chat. Or on Facebook or YouTube. But we wanted to just give a quick update on some of our programs that have been going on this year. We've been talking a lot about the Tardeada and the donations we would love you to make. This is a little example of some of the work we've been doing and we do with those wonderful donations and we're able to do because of them. So I'll really quickly recount some of our recent classes, and then Blanca is going to tell you a little bit about our upcoming production of La Muerte Baila. But we just recently capped an intro to teatro class. This is something we do annually. We're developing different layers to our classes now. So intro, intermediate, master class. So get ready for that. This was 2 weeks in July, and we had several young teatristas training with Ricardo Cortez, and we got some pictures from the classes here. Ricardo has performed in several of our productions, including Macario, Don Quixote, Miss You Like Hell, and La Muerte, and he's also in La Muerte Baila, which is coming up. And if you saw Miss You Like Hell, he was fabulous in that. I really, really liked his performance in that. So I'm sure he's a fabulous teacher. I did not get to experience his instruction. But we're ensuring the future of Chicanx theater and Latinx theater through our youth, right? Through the youth that we're training, because there are traditions and there are cultural traditions, but also theater traditions and theater styles, theater methods that could get lost, right? If they are not passed on. So much of our traditions are passed on one-to-one, right? Through not just classes, but workshops and storytelling and simply, elders passing the story on to the younger generation. And that's what we're really trying to do at Teatro, is to build a new generation and future generations of teatristas, so that the work of Teatro Visión will go on, whether or not Teatro Visión goes on, right? We want Teatro to be here for another 40 years, but really these traditions predate Teatro and they will outlive Teatro Visión, that is. Teatro itself will go on. So we want to make sure that it does. And that's one reason why we're so proud of these classes and so proud of the network we're developing. Almost all of the youth that come through our productions, all of them do have opportunities to come through our classes, have opportunities to audition for productions, and many of them are cast in our final production, in our productions, and they get to perform, not just in the youth productions, but also in our main stage productions, right? And to be a part of a professional theater company. You're seeing a shot right here from Macario with the aforementioned Hugo Badu as Macario, but these 6 actors right here, teatristas, who you see, those are all youth who came through our programs, and then these aren't just roles where they're just standing around. They have lines, they have blocking, they are doing all the things in the show, right? So I can't express enough how beautiful it is to see that growth and see any one youth who doesn't really have their voice yet, right? Hasn't really found themselves yet. Maybe they don't even know why they're there, right? Maybe someone just told them, or their parents told them, oh, you should go to this class. And to come out of their proverbial shell and to just become into their own and learn how to communicate and to be competent in themselves. It goes so far. It's going to pay such dividends later on in their life, even if they don't go into theater, right? Even if they don't become actors, they will have that strength and be able to speak for themselves and tell their own story no matter where they go, right? Blanca, I don't know how much experience you had on stage before you performed or you were added to the Macario cast last year. Could you speak a little about that and what that felt like what it felt like to be out there in front of everyone?
Absolutely. Prior to that was my first experience in theater. It wasn't my first time on stage. So I was a Mexican folk dance performer for many, many years, decades before that. So I had plenty of experience of being on stage. And I think it was last year during Hora de Mitote, one of the things I mentioned was, having been on stage, understanding of moving within that space, right? But being now in a theater production, the first couple of days for me, I was like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? Because there's just so many moving pieces and elements that are like you have to keep track of. And even though my piece was a tiny little piece, like everything has to fit perfectly, like perfect little cogs so that everything moves together. And so for me, it was at the beginning, it was a bit disconcerting because it was quite different from what I was used to in terms of being on a stage. But once I got into the rhythm of it, I mean, it's just you start seeing that magic happen, right? And I think for me, one of the things I really appreciated is how welcoming all the other actors were and how supportive they were. Yeah, it was my first time. I came in like halfway through rehearsals, last minute fill in, but how welcoming and supportive they were. But then seeing the youth, our young actors in that space, taking up space at the same level or caliber as our adult actors, right? It wasn't like, oh, they're the youth actors. They were an integral part of the play. And seeing them sort of build that confidence where they not only are comfortable taking space in theater, but they know how to do it, right? And so, and they're part of the magic and building that story and what ultimately the audience gets to experience so seamlessly. And so, I got to interact not as much as some of the other actors with the youth, but just seeing them, step up into stage. And yeah, there was some of them that maybe were a little bit less confident, and I would talk to them in backstage and they're a little more reserved and shy, but then they step on stage and it's like they become a whole other person, right? And so to me, it's that at such a young age that they had such command of their presence. I think it was beautiful to see, because I know that that's something that they can take with them, right? As you mentioned, whether they become actors or not, it's beyond the point. It's about really having that command of space. I used to work with College of Engineering students, and the stereotype is that they're all introverts that don't know how to talk to people, blah blah blah, right? And I was working with undergraduate students, and I often would encourage them to take the acting class instead of the public speaking class, right? And some of them would look at me like, wait, why? Like, why would I do that, right? And to me, it was like, you can learn public speaking is about being able to structure an argument, right? But being able to present yourself, it's about understanding and having command of your presence. And you learn that in acting. You don't learn that in public speaking. And I actually had some other engineers that took me up on it. And you can see that sort of transformation, that development. And I think the fact that we are providing opportunities for some of our young, youth in our community to have that experience and start building that skill set. I mean, beyond being able to ensure that teatro continues and beyond making sure that traditions are passed on, it's also about what it does for them as individuals, right? And their own development and growth.
Yeah, that's absolutely fabulous, and it's 100% why we do this work, is to, like you said, like the great way of putting it, like take up space, right? And not in a bad way, like they're not getting, it's not like getting in the way, right? It's like they're discovering their space, right? Like they are commanding. They have a commanding presence. They are demanding attention, right? And it's just so great because again, it's something they're going to take with them to other places of their life. So, real quick, I'm going to skip down the script just a bit for a second, just to say that we do have some upcoming classes that you can get engaged in, and that you're whether you're youth or older teatrista. So we'll have an intensive bilingual teatro class that's coming in early 2024. We're looking for students ages 10 to 18, and they will be prepared then to audition for our spring youth production. If you come to the Tardeada, you will get to learn all about our youth production, or what we're planning for the youth production. It's super exciting. You will definitely want to hear about it. And then there's also going to be, this is something I'm super geeked up about, because when I was managing director, this is something we were thinking about doing. We just didn't have the resources to do it. Youth technical theater classes. So this is happening in spring next year, and this is a new technical theater apprenticeship program. So these students are going to have the opportunity to apprentice and understudy under a designer on our youth production, right? So if they want to learn about lighting, they get to basically shadow the lighting designer. If they want to learn about set design, they get to shadow the set designer, costume, etc. And this is just another opportunity to provide pathways for more Latinx and Chicanx youth to take part and make careers in the arts, not just, like we're talking about, maybe some of our actors don't go into acting. It is a tough thing to make a living in. But there's also opportunities for careers on the technical side and behind the scenes and stage managing and all the artistic work and technical work that goes on. And we actually find that some of our actors fall in love with that part of it. The youth actors, they get to see all the behind the scenes. They see our stage manager, our production manager Diane running around doing her thing, and they're like, "Man, I want to be Diane. I don't know if I want to be an actor. I want to be Diane." And who doesn't want to be Diane? She controls everything. If it wasn't for her, the whole place would fall apart. But uh, yeah, that's really why we're doing it. So, and you're going to hear more as we get into our 40th anniversary and our new strategic plan, which we're working on now. Thank you, Blanca, we're being part of that team. We're looking at expanding our reach and our network and our ensemble, if you will, and you'll get to hear more about that in the days and months ahead. So look forward to that. Well, anyway, that's a bit about our classes. As far as our programs and the shows that people love to come to see, Blanca, do you want to tell folks a little bit about La Muerte Baila?
Of course, as we're coming to the end of our hour, we cannot go away without inviting you to join us for our 11th annual Dia de Muertos show. This year, we will be featuring La Muerte Baila, and you've heard us mention it a couple of times. It's created by renowned playwright Rebecca Martinez and our friends at Teatro Milagro in Portland, Oregon. It's a hilarious musical journey through the afterlife, and we hope that you'll come and join us. If you've seen it before, I think for anyone that's seen teatro shows, seeing them a second and third time, it's always a new, enjoyable, different, wonderful experience. So if you've seen it, hopefully we'll see you again. If you haven't, maybe you'll just join us for the first time. And for those of you that have come, bring someone else and make sure that they also get to enjoy this experience. As we mentioned, the storyline, we don't want to give too much of it away, but it's recently departed soul Alejandro has just arrived at Mictlan, and which is the land of the dead, and on the eve of Dia de los Muertos. But La Muerte notices that something is different about this soul's arrival. He can't remember anything about his past. And so it's a wonderful journey of Los Muertitos, the dead, helping him to rediscover his past and rediscover his story. It's a story of forgiveness so that then he can finally journey on to Mictlan. So hopefully you'll be able to join us. The show will be running October 12th through the 22nd. So just in a little bit over a month. Shows will be Thursday through Saturday in the evenings, and then on Sundays it's going to be a matinee at 2 p.m. And as we mentioned before, we do have a scale ticketing prices, which means it's sort of choose your own price, and you can pay as little as 10. You can choose to pay more if you are able to. We just want to make sure that anyone that is interested in wanting to be part of this, that it's accessible to them. So hopefully you'll be able to join us. As a quick heads up, we are going to be doing mask optional performances. So it's up to you. If you're comfortable being there without a mask, you are welcome to. We are going to have one show where masks will be required. And that's just to make sure that, for some of our most vulnerable community members also are able to participate comfortably and safely. So one of the shows we are going to be requiring masks, but for the most part, they are going to be optional for you if you'd like to join us. I mentioned before, we are going to be offering student matinees, and these are, programs that we invite K through 12 schools so that they can bring their students to the show. And so we had to add a second show because we've sold out on the first one. And then we're also going to be showing, having a number of theme performances. So different nights where we invite different communities. You're welcome to come to any of them. But in case you are interested, for example, we are going to have on October 15th, our Girl Scout Day at the theater. Nice. And it's also our performance where we'll have ASL interpretation for that performance if anyone needs that accessibility. We also have College Night on October 19th. We have our Pride Night on October 20th. And, those theme nights are just a blast in terms of just community really coming together and enjoying the show. And with that, we hope that you will join us for our 11th annual Dia de Muertos performance of La Muerte Baila.
Yeah. And we'll also have shirts, so you can at the concession stand. We're going to have concessions again for the first time for those of you who love getting a little bit of pan at halftime or at intermission. We're going to have that again for the first time in a while. So come with a couple extra bucks and help support our work by buying a juice pack or buying a beer or a glass of wine or a pan dulce or a fancy Teatro Visión.
Did I mention that I'm actually going to be on the show again?
Oh no, you did not. Now I'm super jealous.
I knew it. I'm sorry.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I get to be in the show again this year.
Oh, congratulations!
Excited about that.
Do you have speaking at all, or is it strictly dance? Or
I do have a speaking
ooh,
role this year.
I am
Once again,
excited.
they've been already rehearsing, and it was like, we have a last minute opening, and I was like, all right, I got this.
Nice. Yeah, they mentioned that Rodrigo, our artistic director, had mentioned that there was a last minute. That's fantastic. I'm looking now. I have to go at least multiple
Mhm.
times to see it. So all right. Well, that'll be fun. And then also, real quick, I know we're coming up on our Hora tonight, but I want to mention that we did this before in a production of La Muerte Baila, but we're going to be participating in a collective poetry project, which basically means we're going to be collecting poetry contributions from you and other members of the community around the themes of the show: healing, laughter, joy, remembrance, death, frankly. And we're going to be working with some wonderful folks at the Cultural Poetry Center with the guidance of an SJSU professor, Jonathan Gomez, and Silver Creek High School teacher, Alberto Camacho. They're going to weave your responses and your poems into your narratives into a series of poems that will then be read aloud by students and community members at the performances of La Muerte Baila, and published in little booklets that you can get in the lobby. So look for announcements about that, how you can get involved, how you can submit your narrative or your story or your line to the poetry compilation, and you'll get to hear your words hopefully read on stage. And that's what we have coming up as far as our near productions coming up. Our October Dia de los Muertos production. I did mention our youth production a little earlier. That's coming up in spring of 2024, April 11th to the 14th. And this is, again, another opportunity for our youth to shine, both on stage and backstage. We'll be presenting, and you'll hear more about this again at the Tardeada, but a couple plays based on the memoirs of Francisco Jimenez. So look for more information about that. It's very exciting. We're really excited to have the rights to do the shows, and more to be announced then. So please, at the Tardeada. So please come to the Tardeada again, teatrovision.org/Tardeada 2023. There it is again. Thank you so much. I do want to give a shout out to Jacob Yodershock from our team, our wonderful community engagement manager, who is behind the scenes tonight, providing all of the wonderful context to what we're saying. Thank you so much, Jacob, for everything you do. If you are involved in our work in any way, you've probably come across Jacob, or you will come across Jacob, and he's just been an excellent addition to the team, and we're so glad to have him on board. Blanca, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and for your partnership on the board and for everything you do. Do you want to give any last minute shout outs or any last minute thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, thank you. It's been a blast. It's always a blast to be part of this program. I think before we leave, just a quick recap of there's plenty of opportunities for you to connect with us, whether it is that you just, hopefully you'll join us for the Tardeada, but we'll hopefully see you at a show. You can always donate, or you can also look out for those classes if you're interested in exploring teatro. Maybe you can join us for one of our classes. Plenty of opportunities for you to get involved and to get your friends, family, and other members of your network involved with teatro.
Nice. And speaking of getting involved, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we are always recruiting for our board of directors. We are a very strong team of 9, I think, members now, but our bylaws say we can have as many as 15 folks. So if you want to come join our family, we are taking we're accepting applications or interest. If you would like to find out more about how you can get involved on the board, Jacob's throwing my email address down here on the bottom. Please shoot me an email. Blanca and I are actually, I should have mentioned this, we are the board development committee. So that's the two of us. So we are sort of the first line of interest. So if you have any interest at all, Peter at Teatro or Blanca at teatrovision.org, please send us an email and reach out. We can send you a position description, tell you about all the really difficult things you have to do as a board member. Blanca can attest to it. We do a horrible initiation ritual, tarring and feathering and all that. No, I'm kidding. But we'll give you all the info you need. And if you have any questions at all, just let us know. And again, if you know, this is another thing. It's not all the time that someone self-selects for something like this, or that steps up and says, yeah, I can do that. And even me, like, this was when I joined Teatro's board, it was my first board experience at all. Certainly my first nonprofit experience, certainly my first arts nonprofit experience. I had no idea what I was doing. Honestly, I will admit it right now. I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't know thing one about. I just knew that I really loved. Well, I knew a few things. I knew I really loved the work that they were doing, that this group was doing. I absolutely love. I personally love theater, but I was inspired by seeing it on stage, right? And I knew I couldn't like you be up there playing a part, right? A role there. I wanted to play a role in some way in making this, in helping this move forward and continue, because it is such a vital and viable piece of our community, especially here in San Jose, where it's just unique. There's nothing like, even in the Bay Area, there's really no organization like ours doing the work that we do. And I think that's one reason why we have such loyal supporters, and but also why we are, the people involved, so passionate about it. So if you share that kind of passion, if you share that kind of interest in using art, not just as a tool for creating laughter and and tears and all of the emotions that you normally get at the theater, right, or you hope to get from art, if you want to get involved and engage in art that really moves people to create a better world, that's right out of our mission and vision, and change things, right, and get engaged in community and civics and improve their quality of life, this is the place for that. That's why I'm here. You can go to a lot of arts organizations, you go to a lot of theater companies. Not all of them are going to inspire you to take action and to be a part of your community. So with that, Blanca, I want to thank you again for your time tonight, for all your service. I want to thank everyone who's joined us tonight. And please come to the Tardeada, enjoy some good food, learn to dance like La Muerte. Blanca, you want any final thoughts in Espanol for our listeners?
No, muchísimas gracias a todos los que nos pudieron acompañar esta noche. Esperamos que nos puedan acompañar ya sea a la tardeada o una de nuestras próximas funciones, en una de nuestras clases. Hay muchísimas oportunidades para que se involucren con nosotros. Nos encanta que estén con nosotros, nos encanta que nos puedan apoyar y esperamos verlos muy pronto. Como dije, si no es en la tarde de uno de los programas, pero no, en realidad su apoyo es súper importante para asegurarnos de que podamos seguir haciendo el trabajo y la labor que hacemos con nuestra comunidad, no solamente para crear entretenimiento por entretenimiento, pero entretenimiento que motiva a nuestra comunidad a involucrarse, a mejorar y realmente a avanzar como parte integral de la comunidad en general. So, muchísimas gracias. Y esperamos que nos acompañen.
Excellent. And I just want to point out, La Hora del Mitote is our online speaker series here at Teatro Visión. We started this during the pandemic, and we've continued it on because it's just a fabulous way to reach more folks. You can watch any of the previous iterations of La Hora del Mitote on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page. You could even go back and I think see me and Blanca doing one of these maybe a couple years ago, and I've certainly guested on a few. So you can see me with beard or without beard. But please check out previous editions and share them with your friends. Let folks know about it. It's you don't have to watch it live, but we love that if you are. But yeah, you can tune in anytime and watch these and share information about teatro, because we don't get to do the great work we do without you, and we certainly aren't going to grow it and continue it without you sharing the work that we do with the community. We rely on word of mouth and family and friends and connections like that to grow everything. We can post all we want on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot, but it still comes back to that just handshake and looking someone in the eye and coming to a show live. So please come out, and thank you so much everyone for joining us. Thank you, Blanca. We'll see you soon.